Well,
Okay.
it's showing everything
Yeah.
on the screen, so.
Okay, yeah, that's the main thing. Do we have anybody?
Yep. Andrea says it's working.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Mandy. Thank you for joining us today. We're gonna wait a little bit to get started, just to let a few more people jump on. We're just gonna be finding out how to use Libby today. I guess I'll go ahead and open the App Store. I'm gonna do it like fully from the download.
Okay. Matt says hi.
Hi, Matt. Do we have anyone who doesn't work here yet?
We have Anita and Andrea.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to the stream. This is the Adult Services first attempt at a live stream for virtual programming. So hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties and everything will go great. Let's see what time it is.
It is 6 o'clock.
Okay, so let's give it like another minute.
Yeah. Matt says, I love Libby, but want to learn more.
Hooray! Well, you've come to the right place, Matt.
Okay. Andrea says, everything looks great.
Awesome. So I'm doing this from the Microsoft Store because that's what's running on our ClearTouch, but once we get it downloaded, the app is going to look the same. If anybody needs help finding the actual app on their device, for Android devices, you're going to go to the Play Store and type in the same thing that I'm typing in here. For Apple devices, iOS devices, you're going to type in the same thing into your iTunes Store. And if you're using a Windows 10 computer, you can get the exact same app from the Microsoft Store, which is what we're going to be doing today. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to start by typing in is Libby, L-I-B-B-Y, and your first option that's going to come up is by Overdrive. Let me see if I can pull this over to the center. And we've installed it before. I just started over so we'd have a fresh go of it. So I'm just going to hit install. Yours might look a little different, but just hit download or get whatever your store's version is. Why is it making me sign in? Okay, it's not really making me sign in. It scared me.
Andrea says, watching with my sister, so there's a couple of us.
Yay, welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I have our other adult services team member, Amelia, here. She's gonna be watching comments throughout. Hi. We're roommates, so we're not like ignoring social distancing. We already live in the same house. But okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hit launch, but she's gonna be watching your comments throughout and letting me know what you're saying if you have any questions so that I can actually show you on the screen. So when the first time that you launch it, you're gonna get this screen, whatever device you're on. Is it centered properly?
I'm trying to catch up a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think you might need to move it over a little bit more.
I did just move it, so let me leave it where it's at.
It just caught up. It looks good.
Cool. Yeah, we're operating with a couple seconds delay just because that's how the Facebook Live works, so bear with us if we seem to be lagging behind your comments a little bit. All right, so it's gonna ask you, do you have a library card? We're gonna be using a test one, so we're gonna say yes, and hopefully so will you. If you do need to get set up with a library card with us, we'll be standing by afterwards until 8 p.m. tonight to answer any more account-specific questions that you have or help you get set up. But if you already have a library card, then you can just follow along. I'm gonna choose, I'll search for a library, because that way you can enter the zip in directly. For us here, it's 22655, but anything that's in our service area will bring it up. this first one here, Blue Ridge Download Consortium, is the one that you want, and you'll see it come up, Bowman Library. And choose a location if you've already got a library card. You just do choose location. Might have to scroll down a little bit and choose Handley Regional Library. Okay, and enter the long number underneath the barcode on the back of your library card into this slot here.
We've got 17 people watching now.
Hooray, that's awesome. Welcome to anybody that just joined. So we are signing into Libby now with our library card number. And unless you want to rename your card, which you don't have to do, that's more for if you have a card with multiple libraries in the Blue Ridge Download Consortium, you could add them separately. But for us, you just hit next. And this is what Libby is going to take you to. It might look a little bit different if you're on a phone screen. I had to window this down a little bit because we're recording in vertical mode.
You might want to scooch it to the right just a bit.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So it might look a little bit different to you, but this same screen is going to come up no matter what. Right now, we are offering all of the Harry Potter series with no holds, no waits, both audio and ebooks. So if you're wanting to enjoy that while you're stuck home, read it for the first time or read it again, we have that available for you. And if you keep scrolling, you'll see options like what's new, what's popular, and you'll get into some just suggestions. If you want to do a search, you're going to come up here to search for a book, and you can enter in the title or the author name. We have an enormous selection of ebooks. We don't necessarily have every one that we have in the physical collection, but so you may not find exactly what you're looking for, but hopefully you will. And if you want to narrow it down, or if you're looking for, instead of a specific book, you want to find certain types of books, you can go here to more options, and that's going to give you the space to enter title and author. You don't have to fill in all of the fields. You can just fill in the ones that you know or that you want. You can narrow it down by subjects: fiction, romance, mystery, thriller, nonfiction, juvenile. We've even got some read-along books if you've got kids at home. I know a lot of people are doing homeschooling right now. We have a lot of picture books that also have playable read-aloud and follow-along content too, so that can be great. In format, that's going to be useful if you can actually choose those read-along books there under format. And you can choose between books and audiobooks. And those audiobooks are also going to play right in the app, so that's pretty great. If you have, if you're using Kindle or some other kind of e-reader, there are options for you, and we're going to have a separate, we're probably going to do a separate session for those on another night. But of course, anytime that you just want to call in and have questions, we are still watching the Ask a Librarian email all the time, and somebody will get back to you as soon as we can. And if you wanna call in and ask about that tonight after we finish up here, you can do that too. But for now, we're focusing on people who can get the Libby app because that's the easiest way to do it, and that's all Android and iOS devices can do this. You can also choose your language. We have a number of, I don't know how many titles we have in each language or how much we have language support. I know we have some in Spanish. You can choose your audience, compatibility. Compatibility is going to come into play if you are one of the people who's using a Kindle device. Then you can choose things that will specifically work on your device to make sure that you won't have any issues. And availability is my favorite one because you can actually choose available now. And that way, if you just really want something to read right now, you don't have to see all the things that might be on hold. You can say, Maybe you want a thriller and you want something that you can start reading right now and not have to wait for it. You can do that and hit search. And you're going to get the selections, and you can even narrow that down and choose, you see, 557 audiobooks, 1,391 regular ebooks, and you can narrow it down even more to fiction, suspense, mystery. I'm going to do books right now. And when you're going through, you will see all these options. You can click in to each one to read more about it, just like you're reading the back of the book when you're picking it out here in person. And it will tell you some other things by that author. There's a lot of different information on this page. You can choose to read a sample, and you can read the sample even if you're waiting for it on hold. So if you want to have a little taste of it to see if you really do want to wait for it, you can go ahead and get that sample. I'm going to go ahead and borrow this one right now.
Julie just joined.
Hi, Julie. And it's going to show you that you can have up to 12 loans out at a time. So that's ebooks, audiobooks, everything. You get them, you can choose a 7-day or a 14-day checkout period. So you don't have them for quite as long as you have them here, but you can still renew them as long as nobody's waiting for it. And if somebody has it on hold and it has to go back, you actually, when you download it again, the app will remember where you were in it, so you don't have to sit there and figure out which page, or especially with audiobooks, it can be difficult. It'll remember exactly where you left off, and you can just hit play again when you download it again. The other thing is when these go back, you don't have to worry about any late fees or any, of course, right now we don't have late fees at all because we're closed, but you wouldn't have to, even in normal times, worry about that because it goes back automatically unless you actually renew it yourself. So we're gonna go ahead and hit borrow. You see, for 14 days, you can change that to less if you're a fast reader, and you can always send them back early if you wanna do that. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead, instead of just opening the book, you can open the book right from here, or you can go back and keep browsing for more, but I'm gonna go to the shelf to show you that. This is your shelf page. It's probably the main page that you're gonna be looking at on your account when you're managing what you've got. And it's gonna show you, you can put things on hold just like you can with physical materials, and they'll show up here. I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. Right now we're gonna go back to holds. You can tag things so that you can keep track of your own lists. And then this will show you a list of everything that you have checked out right now, which right now we just have the one thing. So here, this is especially important for Kindle users, so I won't go into it in great depth, but just so that you're aware. If you say you are doing it on an Android or iOS device right now, but say you have a Kindle Fire and you'd really prefer to read it on that, you can pick it out on this and then choose Read with Kindle and send it to your Kindle device. You'll just have to log in through, you'll have to have the login information for your Amazon account to do that. But you can send it to another device, and you can always change them back and forth by going into your list. Are we doing okay? Does anybody have any questions, or are we good right now?
We're doing good.
Cool. The other important thing here, it tells you how many days you have left before it's due, and you can say manage loan. And this is, it's too early to renew this loan right now, but in 11 days, that's where you would go if you did want to renew it, and it'll let you know if you're able to. The only reason you wouldn't be able to usually, I think, is if somebody had a hold on it and was waiting for specifically that copy. Our more popular books, we still have more copies of, so it doesn't necessarily circulate slowly. It's just we have a limited number of checkouts, copies. So this tells you when it's due, and you can return it early. If you finished it really fast and you want to let somebody go ahead and grab it, you can, or you just don't want it in your list anymore, you can return it early at any time. And I'll do that in a little bit, and I'll show you how that looks in your account too. For right now, I'm gonna go ahead and start it. We're gonna read it with Libby. I wonder if I can get this to stretch once you click into it, you'll be able to flip through it, just like you do if you have an e-reader or if you're used to using the Kindle reading app. It works much the same. When you click on it, you'll have options that'll let you can search within it. You can look at, most of these do have a table of contents. And then, let's see. Oh, I think I did. I think I set it to go forward on tap. But you can also hit these 3 bars down, and that'll give you a few more options. Reading settings especially are fantastic. If you have any trouble reading, this app is your best friend because you can make the text as big as you want, including accessibility sizes. So you can go all the way up as big as you need it to be. You can choose the bright setting, which we're on right now. You can choose sepia if you're reading at night, or if you just are light sensitive and prefer lighter tones. And you can also do the dark setting. And then, let's see, you can choose to, it's automatically optimized for readability, but we also have dyslexic font, which can be really great if you have trouble reading because of dyslexia.
The dyslexic font is my best friend.
If you didn't hear that, Amelia just said dyslexic font is her best friend. Yeah, I'm told that it is very, very good and very useful.
It is.
So, occasionally you have to tap it just right to get your menu up instead of going forward. But it keeps track of where your pages are, so you can always get back. You can place bookmarks, just like you can with a book. And in this case, you can place multiple bookmarks if you wanted to remember a certain passage that you liked. Let's see. So you have a couple different options for fonts and sizes and everything. And I'm going to turn off the dark setting because that's a little weird to be doing on the screen. There we go. That seems so bright now. Okay, so you can scroll within that and read that way. Whenever you want to go back out, you just tap on it, and you also have your library and shelf. Library takes you back to where you were searching. So from there, you can go back to your search results and all the way back to the main page. On your shelf, you can come back to this, and you're going to notice that the cover of whatever you were reading last is going to be visible, and that's ebooks and audiobooks. It's going to be visible right there. And if you just click that, you don't have to go all the way into your shelf. You can just pick up right where you left off. So you can get in and out of it really easy. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my shelf and show you how to return that, and then I'll show you how audiobooks work. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in. If it's something that we can answer right now, I'll go ahead and show you on the screen. If it's something that's more related to your account or anything, we'll help you with that as soon as we're done with the demonstration. Okay, so again, we're going to go into Manage Loan. We're going to return it early. Go ahead. It tells you how many loans you're at out of 12, and it'll also tell you how many loans you're at out of 12. I'm going to go ahead and send it back. And then when you go to your shelf, the really cool thing is it keeps track of your recent returns. So if you're trying to remember what that last book was that you checked out, you're really trying to tell somebody about it, this will stay in your history for a little while. Do you know how long it stays in the history?
I'm actually not sure.
I don't know if it keeps a comprehensive history, but I know mine are still in there from several months ago. So it's certainly
I think there is a comprehensive history somewhere in the app. I can see if I can find it while you're continuing the demonstration.
Okay. So we'll let you know about that. Also up here in the corner, you'll see Libby. This is where you're going to get your help. You can add a card from, say, if you have, well, we have a number of reciprocal lending branches throughout the surrounding counties, if you've got a card from one of them, or if you're watching because you have our card from one of them, you can put multiple cards on the same account and have access to an even wider selection. Everybody's library collection's a little bit different, so.
I found the answer whenever you have a second.
Okay, so yeah, if you've got multiple cards, then the more's the merrier, and you can add them in right there. If you have any questions, obviously you can always ask us, but if you want to try and troubleshoot it yourself, this is your help and support section to kind of get basic questions answered, and also to restart if you ever needed to do that. And I believe that's under Learn Libby. Yeah, there's a number of different things to let you know how to do. A lot of it we're going to be going over today, but if you need a refresher or you have a specific question, you can always just start by checking there. And Amelia, just let me know that we have an answer to that question.
So if you're on your shelf tab and you have the recent returns, if you scroll down to the bottom of that, there's an activity timeline.
Shelf tab.
And you can just click on see your timeline, and it'll show you everything that you've borrowed in the app.
Oh, awesome. There you go. So that was going to your shelf, down to the bottom, and this is going to show you your most recent returns, and then you go in to see your timeline, and it's going to show you everything. And if we had more than that, you'd be able to scroll through it. So I think that was everything in the account tab that we need right now. Yeah. But yeah, just be aware that that account tab is going to let you do some extra things and get some extra help. From there, let's go back to library and find an audiobook. Let's just do Harry Potter. So again, you can play a sample, make sure that you like the way, I know that I'm kind of particular about the narrator's reading. Some people are better than others, everybody has preferences, so you can test out whether you like the reader, and if it's gonna be something that you want to read before you check it out. So we're gonna go ahead and click borrow. You can always tell, let me go back a second, you can always tell that something is an audiobook by this little pair of earbuds, and it'll say audio. And again, like I showed you in the search, you can select only audiobooks if you just want to see audiobooks, and only ebooks if you just want to see those. So let's go ahead and borrow that. And you get these for 14 days too. I'm gonna go ahead and open that. These do take a couple seconds to download. If you've got a decent internet connection, they don't take much time at all. And these do, once they download, and this is true of the ebooks too, if you, I know right now there's only so many places we can go to access internet. We have boosted the Wi-Fi outside of all of our buildings. But if you go somewhere to a parking lot, somewhere that you can access Wi-Fi, you can download these to your device, and then they'll play. They just stay on your device until they're returned, and then they come off your device. So this works much like an MP3 player. You can go ahead and start it here. I don't know if I have sound. I don't think I have sound turned on.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling.
You
Oh,
can.
the nostalgia.
I know, right? The nostalgia is hitting so hard right now. And you can skip forward and back. You can pause it, and you can also, just like with the books, you can tap the middle and bring up your menu. And what's really cool about this is you can drag to anywhere, and it'll tell you which chapter you're on. And if you just missed a little bit, say you got to here, but you were doing something, you got distracted, and you didn't hear the last minute or so, you can scroll with this lower one and go back by seconds at a time. And so you have complete control over where you're listening and where you're at in it. And just like with the ebooks, it will remember where you are. So we can go out. We're listening to chapter 5, Diagon Alley. we pause it and go back, and we can go to our shelf and go all through different menus and things. When we click that, we're gonna be right where we left off. Even if you close the app, you're gonna be right where you left off, and even if it has a hold on it and has to go back before you're done with it, the next time you download it, it'll be right where you left off. It's really cool. This is probably my favorite thing about the app, because I mainly use it. I don't listen to a ton of audiobooks, but I like to listen to them in the car, and this is my favorite thing ever, because you never have to worry about where you were in them, which can be really confusing when you're doing the CDs, trying to figure out where you were. You can set timers for 30 minutes or something, so that if you fell asleep, it wouldn't just keep playing indefinitely. You can set it to go faster or slower if that helps you, and you can bookmark specific parts of it, just like you can with the audiobooks, and choose from the chapter list. And right there, I believe that's how it works with eBooks too. That chapter list is always at the top, and you can skip through just like an index at the front of the book. So let's go and go back to our shelf. I don't have, oh. So we're gonna go ahead, so I don't forget what I've got on here, I'm gonna go ahead and return that. And then we're gonna find our next read. So let me find you something that needs to be on hold. Didn't mean to do that. I'm doing well, doing well. So, let's see. Let's search for what's absolutely going to be checked out.
The Crawdad book.
Oh yeah. Where the Crawdads Sing, which I will be shocked if it's ever not checked out. Although apparently it has finally been working through all of its holds.
I swear there's always like at least 15 holds on that one.
Had to be the most popular. Why did that not? Did I type something wrong?
Well, you were in advanced search, so maybe it was looking at it. Look at what your preferences are. Huh.
No. Stand by.
We will find you the crab book. Well, look, yeah, it's a subject thriller.
Oh, yep. I'm the reason.
And then it says available now as well.
I'm the reason we can't have nice things. Sorry, everyone. It's not. There are no holds. Somebody get it. Somebody get it right now.
Oh my gosh, get Where the Crawdads Sing right now. I
You
know
can
your
get it
book
on
club is reading
audiobook or
it.
ebook.
I know your book club is reading it.
Fight each other for it.
Jump on that. Jump on that right now.
Okay, so that's actually not gonna work.
All right.
Let's look up something by James Patterson.
Yeah,
Let's
do
find the new
James
James Patterson.
Yeah. James Patterson.
I want to talk about it. There's some holds.
All right.
Okay, so if you do come to something that we have in our system, but all of our copies of it are checked out right now, you can go here and hit place hold. And hit there. And like I told you, it will let you read a sample, and you can also suspend the hold if you know, something comes up and you know you're not gonna be able to read it for a while. You can take yourself out of the lineup and let somebody else have a turn, and then get back in the hold list whenever you're ready for it. So let's go to the shelf, and that's gonna show up there. So right now that hold time is 20 weeks. You can click in. We have just one copy right now and 11 people waiting. We do have multiple copies of a lot of books. It may be because this is a newer one, or maybe we just haven't hit our threshold for it yet, but we do get multiple copies for a lot of our high checkout ones. But right now we're That's a hefty hold.